I've got thick skin and an elastica. I'm gonna get the monkey high. I've got thick skin and an elastica. And I'm gonna get the monkey high. Ow, ow, ow. I saw this dude today walking down the sidewalk. Dude had straight up prickle foot. He was hot stepping, had the hot foot, walking down lava style sidewalk, just like tip, tip, tip. It made my day. Get that prickle foot. I've got thick skin and a prickle foot. And I'm walking down the hot sidewalk. And I've got thick skin and a prickle foot. And I've got a little prickle foot. Ow, ow, ow. Got that prickle foot, man. Got a hot foot straight stepping down the sidewalk. Hope everybody can hear me. I don't know if you can hear me. I never know. I never know if any of this stuff works. It's 1 o'clock here in the great city of Philly, PA. And I wonder if anybody's around. Hello? Hello? Anybody? Anybody around? Well, well, well. I've got thick skin and an elastic heart, and I'm gonna have a prickle foot. Well, hey, greetings. Who are you guys? Oh, the knuckleheads, lumpy-headed weirdos. Those three-sleeve having, brown t-shirt sporting, backwards jeans wearing, three-thumb bizarro town. What's up, y'all? This is Runehammer right here. All this splendor, this white-walled wonder that you see is where I do my prickle foot. It's right here. I got a hot toe. You know what I'm saying? Saw this guy walking down the street, straight up prickle toe. It was so freaking funny. It was like his socks were filled with D4s, and he had like 2Z Legos just jammed into his sock, and he's walking down the friggin' sidewalk, just like hi, 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 hi. I mean, poor guy was having clearly some kind of foot issue, but I'm sorry, bro. That was funny as hell. Just had to straight up prickle foot, man. And he was in his socks, and it's like raining out. So maybe it was the cold water on the sidewalk. Maybe that's what was giving him the prickle foot. Anyways, happy Friday, y'all. It's old Ingrid Burl here, hanging out on Runehammer. And yeah, here I am, rocking you like a hurricane. Now, I don't got no game right now. You believe that? I don't got no game. So I'm just sitting around working on hard suit, doing some of the funnest stuff, honestly, doing like the world map. I did the entire thing. I did part of it here on YouTube, and I chucked that all out. I couldn't. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't like hand drawn enough. So I just scrapped that whole thing, started just hand drawing it, and just let all that go. Yeah, dude, maybe the dude had gout. Oh, see, and I'm so mean. I'm like, look at this hilarious pricklefoot dude. But that's just it. Gout isn't like perfectly symmetrical. This dude was straight up symmetrical, both foot prickle. He's got a hot foot, walking down the sidewalk like it's made out of liquid hot magma. There's probably something wrong. Okay. Let me just confess I'm an evil, insensitive jerk because it was super funny. I have been chuckling about it all freaking morning, this pricklefoot thing. And I just imagining all the things that were in his socks. You know, like he's just got like a million ticks. He just stuffs them in the sock, puts it on, and he's walking down the sidewalk with all these ticks. I'm just like, man, that just would suck. But I just can't help it. I'm sorry, dude, with Pricklefoot. I'm sorry, but I thought that was funny as hell. All right. Anyways, hi everybody. I do not have a game going right now. I'm not gonna have a game for a little while. But crazy thing is, like, it wasn't more than 5-6 days after the end. Here comes some air quotes. These are worthwhile air quotes, though. After the end of our campaign, and our text thread that we use for our D&D group like started lighting up again. People talking about like being the son of their character. So we're already talking about like some kind of follow-up, and it's maybe like 50 years into the future, and like one of the characters is going to be the prince, who's actually the sort of like bastard son of Raka, who wound up, you know, on the fire plane. We're arguing about the exact details of how the final session ended as far as what coins were used. We're talking about like the destiny of being like a high-powered, totally hate-driven, like embracing evil vampire, and like what that could mean for the world. I basically said, I don't want you to play that character anymore because it's just kind of totally out of control. But that character should be a central figure in anything we do next. And we're kind of just like, this is beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see because these players, weren't into this stuff in the beginning, and now a year later, like it's just second nature to just jump on this text thread and just keep role playing. And role playing doesn't always mean, like talking in your voice and all that kind of stuff. It just means buying into the story in a way where you're asking questions or proposing answers to questions, and together cool things happen and form. So anyways, that's that little piece that is on hold. That group won't come back together for a while, especially in that form. I do think we have 2 new members who want to rotate in, and 2 members who are going to take the summer off to do previous commitments. And we're going to do a smaller campaign, probably more like 15 sessions of Hardsuit, which is my new game that I'm working on. And so I'll use that player group as a guinea pig and as a content generating machine to fill in the Hardsuit book. And this is something that I've done with almost every single thing I've published, is that it comes from players doing the things, and then I kind of harvest it, maybe sweeten it, and add a little bit of it, a little bit to it, and then that gives me the book. So I'll provide sort of a seed idea, just something to kick things off. But then a lot of times what you see in my finished work comes from a collaboration of me and players and stuff. And I like it that way. I think you get that magic, that unexpected and sometimes funnier kind of feel good kind of magic. One thing I love about the Vox Machina cartoon is think what you will about that, but I do really like how they really capture what I think D&D tends to be like. There are a lot of kind of immature jokes in a good D&D session, and if you have the right vibe in your group, it doesn't spoil the fun because the battles are still badass, the evil is still badass. And I love that about Vox Machina, is like the bad guys are still badass, the dark moments are still like super dark, but then the bright moments are really bright. So you get like this really big range of contrast. And I think that's hard to get when you're just a solo person in a room writing an RPG book. Players are a big part of what creates all that kind of wacky, unexpected variety. Anyway, well, Gabriel, what are you doing? What, $50 freaking dollars? This is like the worst live stream ever. I don't have a mini keg of beer. I don't have an OSE recap. All I have is my own selves. Yeah, dope, Matt. So my eyes are on the comments for this live stream. This is all about y'all. Matt Stickrod. Now that is a name. I'm gearing up to do Dwarf OSE. Oh, cool. Oh yeah, all dwarf is great because it's really easy to set hooks with an all dwarf group. You can have pretty reliable responses to things with dwarves. You can it's kind of like carp fishing. When you're fishing for carp, they're going to go for like junk food bait, and almost any junk food bait, and they will go for it with a vengeance. And so it's like you can be confident that that bait will function. Now, unfortunately, then you got carp on your hands. So you got this whole group of like these carp dwarves. Anyway, Gabriel, thank you so much for the tip. I appreciate that. That is going to be beer money tonight. It's Friday night. No school tomorrow. So might as well have a couple of little drinks, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, all dwarf group is always pretty hilarious too. That's what we're doing right now on Roll20 in Alex's group. I don't know what's going on here. I have a cult. I've got a cult hairdo going. Am I in a cult? Yes. It's called D&D, baby. Woo! Anyway, so anyways, the stream today, it's Friday afternoon. It's like the work week's almost over, if there is such a thing. For a lot of people, there is. The weekend is cometh. The world, as usual, has crazy current events But we are not going to think about that for just a little while. We're going to get into our little bubble and think about D&D, take a little break from it. But over the weekend, we'll do what we can, make the world just a little bit better, get ready for next week and all that good stuff. So that's Friday is always a magical feeling, but I have no game to recap to you guys. And since YouTube doesn't do screen share anymore, I can't just put you on my screen. Filming my screen has gotten really silly. That just feels plain silly. There is a really good screen share on Discord though. So if any of you guys are interested on getting on the Runehammer Discord and maybe me doing some screen share stuff there, by all means, send me a message and let me know. We can get into some of that stuff. And yeah, let's just open up the flow. Let's open up the flow. So if you have a question or a statement, put something in all caps in the comments. And I'm just kind of, as you can see, I'm locked in down here. When I'm looking down like this, that means that there they are. There are the comments. They're right there, at least in my world. For you, you probably just see like your other tab right there. It's like your League of Legends waiting lobby is right. That's an old reference. Geez, why am I referencing League of Legends? It's so ancient. Anyway, yeah, much love. Oddcore, right back at you. Can't wait to visit the UK. Layer of Knowledge. Yeah, I have not been as avid a reader in a little while now. It's kind of weird. I mean, I've been keeping up on my comics, but comics, is that really reading? I don't know. It's somewhere between reading and coloring. But yeah, I have not been devouring books like I was a couple of years ago. I'm not sure why. I have nothing against reading a bunch of awesome books. I just haven't been in that mindset, that age of increase type mindset where you're just absorbing and absorbing. So I think I'm just waiting for something to strike me where I really want to throw down on a book. I kind of had false starts reading Godblade. I had a bit of a false start reading Black Tongue Thief. Black Tongue Thief is really quality. I just couldn't get into the amount of jest in that book was like excessive. And I loved his action, but he just kept putting off the action with all this jest, and it kind of just wore me down. Skyrim, yeah, on the original Skyrim, I got every single achievement except pickpocket. And after so many tries where I couldn't get pickpocket because I'm a clumsy oaf, I got so frustrated I killed the world. So anything that you could kill, I went and killed, because toward the end you're just so powerful. But you can't kill children, and you can't kill vendors and trainers, but you can kill everybody else. And pretty soon all the towns are empty and stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, Skyrim's great. I just don't like those cat people. Those cat people aren't cool. Is Essentials deck in a digital form? No, not by default, but I can hook you up if you want one via email. The PDFs for those decks are very difficult to work with, and doing DIY card printing, I've already published all those cards in a format that's far more friendly to print and cut. So doing it with the Essentials deck seemed quite silly, but if you still want one, just email me and I'll hook you up. Favorite campaign during my gaming life? Oh man. Well, I've told a little bit of this story a few times, but I can't really call one out as my favorite because they're all awesome for different reasons. But just as far as being newer and being younger, we all have nostalgia with things. And so the game that I played at the end of high school, I had an older GM, Dave, and he was awesome. And he GM'd us until he went to the Marines. We probably played about 50 sessions for the campaign, and it was legendary. It was Fantasy Hero, and I'll just never forget it. It probably wasn't that great. It's like that was more than 30 years ago, guys. Process that for a second. So that was a long time ago, but there's something about being that age and discovering D&D and having a great GM and stuff. And I think that's going to be hard to beat. Okay. Homebrew, different than stereotypical medieval fantasy. Don't worry about it. That's my advice. Making unique and novel fantasy to me is less important than making believable, enjoyable fantasy that players feel free to roam in. And so I would say to get started, do it pretty dang vanilla, pretty typical, pretty samey, and then latch on to little details that your players bring to the table. And those details are what give your fantasy world life, not sort of a gimmick or a novelty. And hey, thanks for the tip, man. Appreciate it. And yes, Hardsuit will be using ICRPG rules. No, we never used Phantasmal Force. That never came up. How do you adjudicate this illusion spell? Yeah, we usually we read the spell aloud at the table if we're having one of these situations, and we just argue it out. And if we argue for more than like 90 seconds, we will throw a dice on a yes/no question about the nature of the spell. That's how we get all our answers on things we don't want to read about anymore. It's like, like the other one was like, is blood fungus a magical fungus, or is its properties the cause of biology? Because this is important, because you can get magic nullification stuff. And we don't argue about it. We just use a D6. Ty, yes, the monster deck is done. I'm waiting the final proof, and then it should be out in the next few days. It's 120 cards of all the monsters from ICRPG. Not all of them, but 120 of them. Having tough time. No, I have no advice on that, Spartan. Numenera is very hard to get your mind around, even for the most imaginative player or game master. That is kind of the appeal of Numenera. But it is difficult to get your mind around without like really cool full color concept art. And that is one of the things that kept me at arm's length with Numenera. Really, Monty Cook in general has a penchant for these hard to describe worlds, which at his table must work really well, because it's definitely a style he keeps revisiting. But good luck with that. I mean, just be visual, use simple words, and boil down these big concepts they hit you with into something really identifiable. Like pick one thing and make that work. No, Joe Abercrombie, I'm not sure what that is. I don't know. Is that Kings of the Wild? Anyway. Hex crawling, creating hex mobs. I am a huge fan of it, Mac. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I am delving into it right now. I do think it can be done in a klutzy way, and I think it can be done in a cool way. I don't think having nothing as like a table result is very interesting. I don't think being overly reliant on tables is interesting. I don't think that being overly worried about supplies and stuff is that fascinating. So I'm going to try to put forth something a little bit off center and a little bit odd, a little bit more runehammery as far as hex mapping in Hardsuit. So look forward to that. You inspire a bunch of people. Thanks, Carl. That's awesome of you to say. I appreciate that. Are there RPG creators that inspire me? Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I mean, DM Scotty is huge, and DMG was huge for me in the beginning. All the sort of YouTube channels that are out there, Goobertown and Seth Skorkowski, all these crazy knuckleheads who are doing stuff. Sam Lenz is really fun. Miniac is fun. I don't know. This is a huge, if you're talking about YouTube, just YouTube alone, this is a huge thing. And then if you're talking authors, it gets even bigger, like, creative authors out there like John Harper and Luke Crane. And I love, is it Jason Artram is the new writer for King Conan. And there's a zillion people that inspire and excite me. It's a really fun time to be into all this stuff. Fantasy campaign inspired by the discovery of America. Sorry, Iñaki, but I have no interest in that at all. The discovery of America is a super dark chapter in the world history, and it's not something I like thinking about it or aggrandizing. It's really, really like some of the nastiest shit ever. But BMAC, what up? How would you go about abstracting chases, wars, and other large-scale things? Just boil it down to a single roll. It's kind of like we did with Fury and the werewolf, who's fighting back this huge legion of green knights. It's just 1d6 roll per round. Can he hold them? That's the only question. Not how many hit points does it have, not how many attacks, who's shooting who, not any of this stuff. Just, is it holding? Is Helm's Deep holding? That's the only question I want to answer. How many Uruk-hai there are, how many elves are dead, where's freaking Gimli? I don't care. Is Helm's Deep holding right now or not? And if the answer is no, oh shit, we maybe need to change what we're doing. That's how I abstract things. And same like a chase. Did they catch up? You're being chased by a flying wyvern. Did it catch up with you? Here comes the coin flip. Wait a minute. We've got better odds than 50-50 because XYZ. Oh, okay. Well, then only on a 5 or a 6 does this thing catch up with you. Does that feel fair to everybody? Yeah, great. Boop, rolled a 3. Okay, it doesn't catch up. That's how I abstract a lot of my stuff. Guten Tag, David and Dragons. What's up, man? If Hardsuit uses ICRPG, is there something you will change? Well, yeah, I mean, tons of things change, but I don't want to spoil the fun. Yeah, it has all kinds of crazy deviations from ICRPG as it is currently known. That's the fun of doing a new world for it, but still relies on the core and relies on the style too. Yeah, Dungeon World is fine. I wouldn't use that. I've really never, except for the maps that Skull Fungus does, I've never really found a hex crawl that fit what I'm looking for. And that's normal. I often will alter everything that I read and absorb. So saying I haven't found a hex crawl that I just use right out of the box is like me, saying I never met a Twinkie I didn't like. It's just like there's nothing wrong with all of them out there. It's just I want to do it sort of just with my flair, my kind of style on it. So yeah. What is the heart soup? What is heart soup? I have no idea what heart soup is. It sounds a bit robust for me. Most original world setting you've read about or seen? Most original? I guess it'd probably be like, well, I mean, it's not, what does most original mean? Not weird. There's a Sundered World, um, which has some problematic author issues, unfortunately. So that kind of fell into oblivion. But I thought it was really cool. There's Planescape's really fun. The first version of Spelljammer I thought was really neat. I thought Shadowrun and Rifts were kind of like that. Turtles in Time. Hey, awesome, Dave. Item book. Good times. I would love a PDF copy. Please email it to me. When is Death Squad episode 3 coming out? I've run the first 2. Got to finish the trilogy. Well, feel free to invent it. I mean, the book includes 9 adventures that I really stand by, and they're the ones that I hinted at. So by all means, unleash. Would you think of revisiting things like Lair of Knowledge? I would, but I'm lazy with my reading these days. Spotlight Rules and Mechanics, I absolutely would. YouTube has it changes over time, and it's definitely much more full right now. And then you have the Gram kind of disrupting things and stuff. So I must admit I don't put like tons and tons of hours into YouTube like I did in the beginning, because also, I mean, I did it for years and years, so a little bit of a reprieve from it is much appreciated. But yeah, I like doing all those things. I think we'll just see what happens in time. Spine of Night, did not see that. How about ICRPG worlds and expand upon them? No, I will not. They are very complete. I mean, Hardsuit is part of the dimension map that is in the Magic chapter of Master Edition. So it's not like my world has become frozen, but Alfheim is so well trodden and so explored and so fleshed out. I don't see a reason to revisit that. Vigilante City is a little bit thin, but it's just not necessarily where my excitement lies. I'm really hoping that someone will pop up in the community who is really going to expand on one of these worlds in some homebrew that's going to be in a fun way. But I appreciate that, Indigo. Thank you. It's just when I come into a world, I like to really kind of come at something new and different. It's a little bit more challenging for me to like come into Vigilante City and say, ooh, here's a blob of content that I could do. This could be dope. I get a little more mired up when I think that way rather than when I'm just like out in the ether kind of coming up with something new. Yeah, Jesse, for sure. And a lot of people use playing cards too. They use them as a yes/no deck. Like all red cards are no and all black cards are yes. And it gives you a similar mechanic to just resolve completely random questions. Yo, Ty, what up? Gundam tabletop game. Systems that aren't crunchy. Yeah, use Mecha Hack or, use a cooked down version of Battletech. Use a cooked down version of Robotech. And by cooked down, I mean take the top layer of rules and throw the rest away. There's also Zero Frame. Give that a try. But yeah, Gundam sometimes, crunchiness, at least in some regards, can be part of it. But I'd say the Mecha Hack is one of the best, smoothest ways to get that Gundam excitement. Which hex crawl from Dungeon World? I don't think Dungeon World does hex crawl. I don't know if it outwardly does either. I think it exists in a more abstract space. But when you say Dungeon World, that is a very large umbrella of products. There's a lot of fan-made content out there for Dungeon Worlds. I would be shocked if there wasn't a Dungeon World X crawl. Yeah, BMac, thanks for the tip, man. Appreciate that. And appreciate the compliment. Thank you. That's awesome. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean, you can also do your Gundam game in ICRPG. Philip makes a good point there. If you're starting out Rifts, what should I get? Just get the Rifts core book. It's so much to take in. It's all you're going to ever need. And if you're like me, you will toss 2/3 of it and just take again this kind of veneer of the rules and the concepts in Rifts and do your game that way. That's how I do a lot of stuff. Is your next in-person campaign? Yeah, Norns. My next campaign is Hardsuit, and they are not familiar with ICRPG. Yeah, Perilous Wilds, by the way, if you don't have that, it's not exactly a hex crawl, but it is a sort of a table-based world maker, and it is a must-have on your game shelf. It's absolutely killer little book. All the stuff from those guys, I think they're called Lamplighter and Black. Is that the name of that publisher? They're absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Well, I don't think you have to be careful around colonialism in Yaki. I don't think that is the problem. I think it is the actions of individuals that are the problem. I think colonialism is an inevitable part of any finite space with intelligent cultures. It's going to happen. Colonization is going to happen, but I think you could not be an asshole about it. But yeah, the ideas of outsiders and indigenous people. Now that's interesting. I think that's abstract enough where you've got a lot of interesting bones to pick there. And you can even allude to some of the dark chapters in Earth history without it being, all wrong or feeling gross or anything. It's just all a matter of being erudite, having your homework on point, being big-minded so that you see different sides of what can be a sort of coarse subject, and don't let it get nasty, just like Jimi Hendrix said. Game Master's Apprentice cards. No, I don't know anything about that. Mecton. Oh, good old Mecton, man. That's been around forever. Recap videos were a departure rather than theory. Yeah. What kinds of content do you find useful in growing as a GM? Mostly not video content. I got to say, for me, I'm a blog guy. So when I'm working on something as a GM and I'm stretching my legs, so I'm a little bit outside my comfort zone and I want to try something new, I'm a blog person. I read blogs, and that's how I can process ideas and advice in a tangible way and then kind of transcribe them into notes. And there's a lot of D&D bloggers out there who kind of write these articles about either things that they did or ideas for how to do things. And I learn that way. That is my learning method. The other thing I'll do a lot is listen, and this is silly, but I listen to like old, like 80s sort of new age music. That may sound totally ridiculous, but yeah, like Fresh Air and Vangelis, Tangerine Dream and Yanni and stuff like that. It's kind of silly now that I'm saying it out loud, but when I listen to that kind of stuff, it definitely puts me into like some kind of theta wave thing, and I get a lot done as a game master. It's like very expansive for my brain. So I know that isn't specific content or advice, but that's a thinking method that I use. Yeah, Forbidden Lands is absolutely a hex scroll. I mean, it has hexes on the thing. It does that whole kind of table thing, leans a little more on tables than I would prefer. But Forbidden Lands is a great book, really fun, just a fun book to read more than once. Miscast. Yeah. He's making an RPG with quirky and weird art. Sounds great. Is that Arcane Ugly? Is that the one I'm thinking of? I know your session planning videos are demystified. Yeah, definitely help me. Cool. Don't get into the weeds. Crafting posts on the Instagram. What got you inspired to return to the craft? Well, the sort of the last 3 sessions or so of my campaign, I wanted to wow my players a little bit and really, hit a home run visually with the ending of that campaign. They were great players. It was a great group. The whole thing was a freaking great experience. And I just wanted to break out some of the old crafting skills to to make things fun. Plus, I just miss painting and making terrain and stuff. That's just, I love doing that stuff. So it was a no-brainer. Having a blog is a great place. Oh yeah, blogs are really good, especially if they're brief and tight and to the point, and the material is quality and the writing is clear and there are plenty of line breaks. Y'all without the line breaks, man, these people are sociopaths. What the hell? I can't read a paragraph that is longer than a screen. That is madness. Put those line breaks in there, y'all. Sheesh. GMing for the first time on Sunday. Dope. Don't worry about it being a one-shot. That's my first piece of advice. Thevil fuck a one-shot. You're just doing a session. It may not be a campaign. It may not be a one-shot. Don't think about any of that crap. Just let it happen. Be enthusiastic about the game. You don't need a bunch of things planned out or magical, entertaining moments. You just need a lot of energy, a lot of positivity, and be a good listener, be a good friend, and it's going to be a freaking blast. Just let it be whatever the hell it's going to be, especially if it's your first time. Just openly bumble. Just tell everyone at the table, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. How about you guys? Okay, great. I'm thinking you guys are walking down the road because you're adventurers. You're looking for work because you're poor. And there's like, you see some movement in the bushes, right? There you go. That's a way to kick off a motherfucking session. Oh, this channel's not for kids, so I get to drop the F-bombs. Okay, Ben Gaiman. Yo, Russ, what up? Thanks, man. Yes, the Runehammer forums are the shit. If you haven't checked them out, go to forums.runehammer.com or .online. Anyway, holy shit. Yes, my forums are the biggity bomb. And props out to all those creators. I had help from a lot of people to make them like they are. We really wanted that format. So thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Yeah, Dungeon Synth gets me going too. By the way, my Dungeon Synth stuff is now on Spotify if you want to peep that. Paragraphs, man, paragraphs. Okay, thanks, Dave. Oh yeah, Evangelist is my shit. Are you sharing or marketing your item? Oh, okay. You have an hour to prep a game. What's your method? Usually I'll just try to come up with something to contain the session. Like, how can I get them in a place? Then I'll be like, what is that place? And then I'll be like, what's the kind of a monster that I haven't really seen in a while that could be dope? I don't know. I haven't seen like Odiugs in a long time. And like, I haven't done anything in like cool ruins, like a druid henge or something up on a hill. There you go. I'm halfway done. Yeah, it really, I really think that preparation is mythified in this hobby. And it's not like it's the wrong thing to do. Like, you can put lots of prep into a thing and get all kinds of cool nuance and excitement and awesomeness. That is totally a possibility. I am not naysaying that. But you can also just sit at the table and you guys be like, guys, I kind of have like a half sheet of notes, but I think I have kind of a cool idea. And, we still need to talk about that situation from the end of last week. But let's just kind of see where this goes right now. And when those roads start to twist and turn, you just openly tell your players that you're kind of like going, you're chin scratching for a second. Just be completely transparent. Yeah, Iñaki, no worries, man. You guys hear Chetney in the background? Will you do decks of cards for Warp Shell and Ghost Mountain? I already did. Desktop publishing. Oh, this is that other thread. Okay. After a whole campaign of OSE, are you happy to roll under the target DCs again? Yeah, sure, it's fine. It's fine. It has its ups and downs like everything. I like how OSE is bifurcated, how it's kind of this half is over and this half is under. I did like that. But yeah, rock on. Sometimes it's counterintuitive, but after, a few sessions, almost nothing remains counterintuitive. You just get into it. And this is why I like to stand by that one stream I did where I talked about changing your mind. Changing your mind is freaking K. You can like something one year and not like it the next, and vice versa, and it's okay. You do not need to be called out for that. Yeah, everybody needs to just chill when it comes to people changing their minds. Let it happen. It's all right. As a self-employed person, fire! You got any tips to motivate yourself on days where the juices aren't flowing? Not really. Good luck with that. If the juices aren't flowing, don't further grind yourself down to a nub. You know what I mean? Like beating yourself up about like I need to do some shit, and even though I'm totally not in the mood for it, you'll just build up more cortisol, more negative chemicals in your brain, which will become associated with what you're doing, and that's bad. You don't want that. So if the juices aren't flowing, just relax, step away, just walk the fuck away from it. You know, so many people ask me, what if I'm burnt out on being a GM? Stop doing it. Unless it's your livelihood and like you have to get in and run the game, stop fucking doing it. Just take a break. And sometimes you will find that your breaks are you actually not taking enough. You'll look back and you're like, wow, I haven't taken a break in forever. That was really nice. You know, I'm kind of thinking about drawing that little buggy I was dreaming of. You know, that's what you want to do. And Picasso even talked about doing this. You have to do this. He called it filling the well. Yeah, I can't say that there's a problem with prep or with over preparation. It's such a vast and complex part of the hobby. It is really fun to do lots of preparation, but it does really set you up for a strange experience for the players. Like, okay, guys, I have pages upon pages of stuff. I'm not sure where you even fit in. I don't know what this all caps is thing here. Not reading or reading blogs and rule books more than stories. I don't know what that means. I need more sentence structure than that. How do you run shops? I barely do. We get through shops and shopping and buying as quickly and simply as possible. We do have one vendor who's kind of like a funny character named Red Thorson. He's a bear hunter, but generally I don't do a lot of the whole shop scene that is part of the D&D milieu. That we don't have a lot of time in our world for that kind of stuff. Link to that sweet dungeon synth. You can look it up. It's called Azael on Spotify. Azael. Yeah, what's up, Adam? I don't think prep is overrated either. I think all these like making generalizations about it, I don't think is useful. It's not overrated. It's not underrated. You can have lots of it. You can have not much of it. It all just depends on where you're at and what's happening and what's next and what came before that. There's so many different possible it's like saying training is overrated. Like you can train a lot, you can train a little. You can practice every day, or you can practice once a week, whatever. It's just there's so many different ways to do our hobby. I think it's more just a matter of like taking it one step at a time. And sometimes there's a zillion steps, and sometimes there's one. How do you visualize action that's happening in your mind? I'm not sure there is a verbal answer for that, but I'm obviously, as an artist, a very visual person. But I think that's what the table is for too. That's why even theater of the mind games, I recommend having some visual cues on the table, the campfire, as I call it, some little tokens, a couple index cards, something, so that everyone at the table can get a visual anchor point. But how do I imagine things and visualize? I can't really describe that in words. That's a visual concept. That's a gnarly one. That is a crazy. Do I see it as comic book panels? No. I see it like almost like a Final Fantasy Tactics sort of image, if that makes any sense. You know, like it's a almost low res kind of 3/4 isometric kind of tactical map, if that makes any sense. Almost like Fire Sword or something. I'd like to see a video of your prep sessions like the one you did before. Okay. Dance. Yeah, Panic. One of the reasons I've been doing a lot of these earlier afternoon things is because it just happens to be my schedule that's been unfolding. And my schedule is different every 2.5 months. So if this no longer is possible, I'll go back to the 7 p.m. ones. I would like to do some heavy drinking streams like back in the day. I think that would be really fun. Yeah, Uniball Vision is absolutely still my pen. That and Sharpies. Oh, here's another way in. Traditional RPG books don't give you enough good guidelines. Yeah, I think that is generally true. I don't think any book can truly capture what the hobby is, and I like it that way. I don't think it's up to a book to tell us what this hobby is. I think it really is for creative and somewhat intellectual people. I think that if you are not either of those things, this hobby could prove frustrating. Would you consider doing a video and how you prepared your files and formatted your? Not really. I kind of talked about that in my self-publishing video. But this is not a very interesting topic. It is extremely technical and time consuming. That is a very big topic. It's also in some ways like proprietary knowledge. Not really, but that is a huge and boring topic. So I don't know if I would ever do a video on exactly how you set up like your InDesign export settings and stuff. That isn't really the style of my channel. If you need some personal help, Blue, always feel free to email me and we can talk about some of that detailed stuff in that kind of a forum, but not in a video. I like videos to be fun and light and they last a couple hours at the absolute most, and then I'm out of here. You know, YouTube is an odd bird. And I don't want to be in on the sort of technical tutorial aspect of YouTube. That's not really for me. Yeah, 7 p.m. for drinking. Fire Giant campaign. Still not. Okay, yeah. Room design drinking stream. I need more sentence structure than that. That's like saying tires. Yes, I mean they give us traction in our cars. Big fan of tires. Yeah, I mean almost all my old room design videos involved shots of whiskey and mugs of beer. Yeah, I mean, a lot. I do appreciate that in ICRPG, my GM section is very liked, but I think the best one of them all could never quite capture exactly what is going to work for you. Hankering's Hell, man, did that prove to be a challenge? First of all, COVID ruined everything. So as me, and I had 3 people helping me to find the venue for my little mini con, and COVID completely ruined everything. So we just could not get that lined up. And then we also couldn't find a venue that satisfied everybody. Like they're either all too far away, they're too expensive, they're dominated by weird Christian summer camps that don't want people who role play to be in there, and all these bizarre problems. So it actually became vastly more difficult than I thought. So I think the better approach is going to be to runehammerize some of the cool smaller cons around the country, starting with Mace West in Asheville, North Carolina next month. So I think I'm going to piggyback on some other cons, and that could be a better way for us to all get together. But renting out like a convention, like gathering venue, especially out in the woods, like I wanted to do, and then getting people to fly there and drive there, it really proved to be impractical. Like people don't have 3, 4, 5 grand to blow to go for 4 days of role playing out in the woods and like hanging out. It just really was tough. So I think we're going to have to become part of other cons if we really want to get together. And what's up, Park? Have you checked out Hex? No, I haven't heard of that. But yeah, hex crawl systems in general, like relationship generators and weather generators, that is not for me. Oh, cool. VDS. What's up, Joe? Yeah, awesome. Tires, definitely give our cars traction. What's the most epic weapon you've ever given to a player? Probably Ruin in this last campaign. We had Blood Drinker in a campaign once, but I think Ruin is worse. It's a sword that induces a death save to its target, no matter what its target. So process that for a second. And then it had a 1-round recovery because it would always stick in the ground on the other side of whatever it hit. So even on a save versus death, a creature will lose half its HP. So it has an approaching infinity damage curve. It was also adamantium. It was non-magical, so it couldn't be magically nullified. And it was sort of honored throughout the kingdom. So it was anywhere you went with this massive sword, like children would gather and want to touch it and stuff. It was just legendary. You're gonna check out Vikings Valhalla on Netflix? Yeah, sure, why not? That may be Indigo, but that is just not for me. I really don't want to be on YouTube telling people to click their settings drop down and go to their text window in InDesign. That's just a little intense. I would do that with someone one-on-one, but that is just not for me on YouTube. I know you like Blades in the Dark, but no, I never got a chance to play. Never got a chance to play it. I just like it as a theoretical work. And that's enough for me. Beyond Vorpal. Yeah. It works a lot like Vorpal, exactly, but so much crazier. So much crazier. So let's say you have a colossal elder dragon. You just swing the sword. You don't even roll an attack. The dragon just saves versus death. It's that gnarly. So you get a crit fail by that dragon. It is instantly like beheaded. Just that's it. So it disregards all aspects of damage absorption, of armor, of evasion, everything. Thing is massive and it strikes true every time. Just crazy. And they realized it. And I'm sure you guys watched the recap, but yeah, it's so powerful they hid it. They hid it so that no one else would ever find it. It seems like none of my friends are interested in my campaign. Wow. That is rough. So Mattia, either your friends are just not into D&D in general, or your campaign's like just terrible. I'm guessing that your campaign is not that terrible. So your friends just might not be into D&D, and that is just going to drain your life force, man. You got to find people that are interested. And if I can provide one idea for a good way to meet D&D people, is just get out into a public space like a tavern or a bar, and just pull out your D&D journal and start working on it. And people who are interested will come up to you, and it's a great way to meet players. And yeah, you don't need to live in a world where you're trying to play D&D with people that aren't into it. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. That's going to be a major bummer. Yeah, I use Macs. I use a Mac laptop and a Mac desktop. I'm a very Mac-oriented person, and when they start not working that well, I throw them away and get a new Mac. I don't know whoever came up with this idea that you have to fuck with your computer, like you have to put things in it and like change the settings. I guess computer people came up with that. They're like fans of doing that stuff. I personally hate it. I think even phones have too many things that they expect us to do. Computers should just have like 3 large buttons on them, and like it's ridiculous how computers have been designed. Yeah, I like Beyond Vorpal. It's a great name for anything. For $4,000, I'll drop a fresh motor in my van. Oh, to go to the to go to the con. Yeah, I mean, you can look online. If you have friends around the country, like online could be a way to scratch your itch. But really, I strongly recommend getting out in public as a D&D player, just being open. You don't have to like come at people and talk about it and stuff. Don't be crazy. But if you're just visually there in public, trust me, people will ask you about it, and you will meet people who are like, oh man, I've always wanted to play D&D. Fuck. And then you're like, well, you're super weird though. Okay, then the next person comes up and says, oh yeah, I've totally been interested in that. Hey, like, cool. Here's my card, send me an email. Maybe we'll pull a group together. In the late 80s, Krull Beastmaster, having seen, what am I watching? What? I like both of those movies, if that's what you're saying. So am I choosing between Krull and Beastmaster? Beastmaster all day, every day. Krull is a cooler, like high concept film, but come on. The actors in Krull, seriously? At least the only bad actor in Beastmaster was the bad guy. And you had like the whole Boris Vallejo aesthetic in Beastmaster that was really cool. The aesthetic in Krull is just like bonkers land. Conan was not one of the options, Keith. Not fair. I've been running a cat campaign. Dope. That's very good. That's very good. I've caught up. See, that's how aggressive I am. I read these comments. I read them fast. I bring the pain. Rip Torn. Yeah, man. Even he couldn't even just fall in that fire pit at the end and do it well. Like even that didn't look good. Favorite Final Fantasy movie, probably Advent Children. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like the one with the giant ghosts too. That was kind of cool. I can't remember what that was called. They're on some crazy ass planet, and there's like these giant monster ghosts. Can we see a little more of the Cypunk book? Yeah, it's right over here. Let me just retrieve this. So yeah, this is the Cypunk anthology. Ooh, this is a signed copy. Yeah, it is Xeno Dead Zone, Altered State, and Bearcats all in one print book. These were some of the best-selling games from previous years that were previously only in PDF, and now they're in this super fun, colorful print book. And it came out really, really neat, and it's really fun. And like all three sections are completely different, and it's got this kind of like super badass, like gloss black kind of look. That's the Cypunk anthology. You can get that on Drive-Thru RPG right now. Yeah, I'm really proud of this one. This is like, there's so much variety and color art in here. And it took so long to make these games. So to finally bring them together and print them, super duper proud of this. It's really, really fun book. So it's got Altered State, Cyberpunk. It's got Bearcats, which is like high school versus aliens. And it's got Xeno Dead Zone, which is my fan tribute to aliens. Put that back over there where that belongs. Where it belongs, I say. Oh, this one. Oh, wait. Expounding on worlds of the universe. Yeah. Hardsuit will be a new world. If you could play D&D with historical figures, oh, that's so weird. I don't know. I don't want to play D&D with historical figures. It just gives me the creeps. I can't. I just can't. I mean, I'd like to spend some time with Aristotle, but I don't want to play D&D with him. That's fucked up. It's so twisted, man. I can't. I don't like thinking about hanging out with historical figures. I'm not that kind of. I'm not a Bill and Ted type dude. Here in Italy, the scenario is so different. D&D is weird here, dude. I'm gonna have to take the hard line with you here, Mattia. Doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter if it's weird. It doesn't matter if people think it's weird. None of it freaking matters. Be yourself and put yourself out there, and the world will come to you. You got to do it. And I'm sure I'm gonna be in Italy before long, and you can show me what's up. All right, how about that? I bet it's weird, but you got this. There's weird stuff everywhere, and there's good stuff everywhere. What's your favorite RPG genre after fantasy? Oh man, I don't know. After fantasy, I kind of like deep space punk, like deep space stuff. I don't know why I put the word punk on the end because that's what you do nowadays. But yeah, deep space stuff is really cool when it's like so far deep into space. It's really weird, like Asimovian kind of stuff. Favorite Doctor Who monster? Well, I guess Daleks is kind of a go-to, right? I don't like the sounds they make, but there's Cybermen. I don't know if those count as monsters. I'm really a Horda guy from Star Trek. I like that thing. It's like a big matzo ball. What's your most anticipated show? Well, I guess the Lord of the Ring one looked fun. There's that anime of Lord of the Rings coming up too, which looks super dope. Loved Boba Fett. The ending of Boba Fett was super fun. We're spoiled nowadays. Everything's so great. I don't know what this weird culture of everybody complaining why shows aren't perfect. Shit's so weird. But like there are great shows these days. It's so fun. It's like a TV golden age. Yeah, Mastodon is pretty good. Their new album's okay. I listened to it a couple times after the last stream and they came up. It's not my favorite of theirs. I like the Kraken one better. Cool. Xeno and Warp Shell. Yeah, that's peanut butter and jelly. What style would you like to play, but not as a DM? Fantasy with little science fiction elements in it. I mean, that's just where I live. Who are the Crystal Magi? I don't know. In ICRPG? You mean the Yog mofos? Yeah, you can go online too. I really think it's hard to meet people who are your friends online. Maybe I'm weird or old or something, but yeah. What's up, Cyrus? You know I'm chilling. Oh yeah, the Horda, dude. I all day, every day. I'm a Horda guy, and yeah, I'll definitely be coming to Europe to see everybody eventually. It's just right now, even like to go to Greece, you got to like chill in quarantine for like 10 days. But all that shit's gonna end. I think we made it. Made it through this garbage. It was a weird 2 years, but we made it. Yeah, Rings of Power looks pretty fun. So it must be in the second age. So it's going to be in the lull between the age of Elendil and then the age of Schmiegel. So it's going to be there in the middle somewhere. Should be interesting. Are you doing commissioned? Getting your drawing streams? Yeah, I mean I'm still drawing every damn day, and I do commissions here and there as possible. But I'm getting more and more busy with my own stuff. I just don't stream it all the time. I'm enjoying my privacy. Um, YouTube is fun, but it can also sort of vampire your brain a little bit. Liam Neeson is so awful in Krull. So bad. And he had like a glued on beard. So bad. Uh sure, okay. Cool. Okay. So that's the Crystal Magi. Now if you don't know, now you know. Oh yeah, Beam Saber. That's another Gundam thing. RP system. Yeah, I mean, has Liam Neeson ever been a good actor? Let's really ask ourselves that. I mean, I know Darkman was like Shakespeare level, but short of that, is Liam Neeson really a good? I guess Rob Roy was dope. He kind of acted in that, but he was just kind of like being himself. I don't know. I'm gonna have to give Liam Neeson a little bit of a hard time. I don't know if he's like. I mean, he's a better actor than me because he's got like he's a world superstar and all that stuff. But I don't know, man. From where I sit, I'm not thinking, whoa, look at the acting chops on this fool. Why are there 105 people in here? Hi, everybody. It's just a live stream of reading the comments and answering questions, foibles, jabs, and jokes. That's really all we're doing. Whoa, there's a dude with all the clothes of the one color just walked by outside. That's crazy. Pants, shoes, shirt, hat, all the same color, like mustard yellow. Nuts up. Get the likes up. No, never again on YouTube should anyone say click subscribe or like this video. How obvious is it? It's like saying eat your cheeseburger. Like we have said it enough. Stop, YouTubers. Stop. Yes, I do have a window. It's right there. I'm looking outside right now. Are you going to get another group or the same group rebooted? Both. I'm getting a new group for here until the end of summer. And then my Dirty Jobs crew is going to reconvene for in the fall to pick it back up. When can we expect a piece of art of Hardstone to get an idea and feel? I have no idea what Hardstone is. Oh, you mean Hardsuit? Well, if you're on my Discord server, you see quite frequently all my working. You get to see, get a view inside everything that I do. So please join in there. Otherwise, it has to reach a state of better completion for me to kind of start revealing anything. Yeah, that monochrome style, man, that stuff's crazy. The border between cat and gray is divided by a huge chasm. Who defends it? Well, it's those little dudes with those rope bridges, which is where the very first ICRPG campaign that was ever run happened right on the brink of that. And the canyon is so deep, like the bottom is in the Underdark. It's hilarious. The Gray is an awesome movie. I don't know, man. I think as a movie, it's cool, but I don't know. It's just like Liam Neeson being Liam Neeson again. I mean, I guess if you could just be yourself and make a bitchin' acting career out of it, like that's pretty hard to hate on. Do you have any plans for future crafting videos or print and play PDFs? Hmm, I don't know. I don't know if I do or not. Uh, I mean, I like to include a little bit of print and play kind of stuff no matter what I do, but not necessarily that it's designed just for it. Um, yeah, and I don't know about crafting videos because YouTube has become so densely populated with crafters. I'm a little like, I'm just me now. I'm just kind of over here. All mecha ICRPG card volume at some point. No, no, you cannot have that. That would mean drawing at least 100 mecha. That is a massive undertaking if they were to be of quality. So no, you will not get that. I'm sorry, but you will get other things. You talked about Godzilla the other day. Yeah. Where should I start if I want to get into monster movies? Watch them. What about? I mean, start with the original. Start with Gojira. Go back to the black and white, and you work your way through those bad boys. You can skip some of the ones in the '60s and '70s because they're whack as hell. But don't miss like when monsters make their first appearances, like Gigan and Rodan, freaking Mothra and stuff. And then you can fast forward to like Godzilla 2000 and that whole series with Kiryu and all that crazy shit. And then you come into the modern era and like just watch those babies. But you got to watch the first one to get your context. You got to understand that Godzilla is like a manifestation of mass grief. And once you get that, then all these other movies start making sense. Oh, ganar los dados. Sí, tira los dados. Opportunity. Yeah, it's this is your chance to win the dice. That is a T-shirt I found in a thrift store, which was from a Mexican casino. It was awesome, a very rare find, but I wore it so much it fell apart. If cost wasn't an issue, what's a tool you'd love to have in your hobby workshop space? Cost is not a problem when it comes to hobby workshop stuff. I mean, the only thing I would want that I don't have is more Army Painter terrain primer because that is the best primer that the world has ever known. The Ruins and Cliffs color is the best primer that has ever been. Um, but I'm not into like expensive stuff. I guess it'd be cool to have a 3D printer. That'd be kind of dope. But even then, I don't want all that smell and the take up space and the distraction of it. Actually, fuck that. I would love to have a dope 3D printer, but I just have a feeling it would eat my brain. I just want to get all into it and make all this crazy shit. And I do like working in the analog milieu. I don't want to get back into 3D modeling. I like to work pen and paper and writing words. I did a lot of 3D work over my lifetime, and I'm kind of good to go on all that stuff. That's some OG old school Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, tierra los dados, mi amigos. Oportunidad de ganar los dados. Hey, Godzilla vs. Sea Monsters, one of my favorites. Yeah. I think, man, my favorite is probably King of the Monsters, the newer one. That was so freaking sick. God damn, that was dope, man. When they came down on that air base and Monster Zero's fucking going off, that was sick as hell. I hate to be the guy who likes the new one, but damn if that wasn't just dope. Or when he's in the snow, that was so freaking awesome. Do you remember playing your very first D&D game? I do. How did it go? It was great. We had a blast. We were in 8th grade. 8th grade was a very difficult grade for me. I got beat up a lot. And that is when I skipped 9th grade because I got beat up so much. I had to get the hell out of that school. And then I didn't get beat up no more. I learned how to stand my fucking ground, and I didn't take no shit after that. But damn if I didn't get beat up like hell in 8th grade. But that is where we made the transition from Rifts and TMNT and GURPS, and we found out about D&D, and we got into D&D. Yeah, that finicky shit with 3D printers, like I trust other people who are good at 3D printers to do their thing. What is the juiciest encounter you ever conjured up? Good Lord. Well, it's probably when we fought Tiamat in my college campaign. So like late in college, so it's 94 or so. We had a group that was 3 years deep. We're talking more than 100 sessions, living in the dorms together so you can play twice a week and shit. And we took on Tiamat after Spelljamming. So we went and got equipped out in Spelljammer land and came back to confront Tiamat back in the Karamakos. So this was the 2nd edition D&D world. And that was crazy. So just the battle with Tiamat was like 3 full sessions. CR10s Pro with, I don't know what all that means. Oh, it must be 3D printer talk. Yeah, Mechagodzilla was insanely stupid. I actually, Godzilla versus Kong, I hated that movie. They made, it was, yeah. As if King Kong could ever fuck with Godzilla in the first place, but then also just the way they, blah. And then how could you fuck up something as awesome as Mechagodzilla? Poop on you. How is your DM journaling? Are you going to reveal it, or is it a long way off? Well, it's over here. I can grab it, but it's good. I mean, I'm 3/4 of the way through my current one, and yeah, I'll show it when it's done. I don't really force it. I just kind of roll with it. But you know why? Because I don't. I don't know what that all means. That's crazy stuff. Don Fry's mustache. Yeah, I figure that's true, Cyrus. What is your opinion about mutants and masterminds? It's all right, I suppose. It's okay. As is, all systems have redeemable qualities if you just hack them up. Shield of Hanar. Hey, great. Oh, Matthew, don't just get one of the books. You need to get the trilogy, cousin. Get Legacy of Mud. You don't want just the middle book. How'd you like those Pacific Rim movies? They're cool. They're fun. Would you make room design videos only using? No, I won't do that. And I know everyone misses the room design videos, but I have moved on. I make your own room design videos. I would really love to see people do that. That would be cool. But I made a zillion of them, a zillion, I say. So I probably will not be revisiting that. But who knows? Life is long. I mean, how long am I going to be on frickin' YouTube talking about D&D? I have no idea. I'm going to be old soon. I'll be old in another 300 years. I have not talked about my plans for the next campaign really in detail yet. It's going to be the middle campaign is Hardsuit, and then we're going to revisit the Dirty Jobs world in Blackmoor in fall. But I haven't really talked about details of the Hardsuit campaign. If we're conceding that Kong is the same size as Godzilla, Kong would wreck Godzilla. Oh, yeah? Is it because he has an infinitely powerful nuclear blast? Oh, no, wait, that's Godzilla. Is it because he's totally unkillable and only becomes stronger when he dies because he regenerates in like a haze of radioactive doom? No, wait, that's Godzilla. What was it that was awesome about King Kong? Oh, yeah, he's big. King Kong would die of radiation poisoning like within an hour of encountering Godzilla. But this is an academic discussion. This is an academic. You think any of your players in this recent campaign would want to run a DM? No, they're all too new. They do not want to do that. Volunteer to start running 6-week campaign. Right on. What would you think? You cannot create an approachable story arc. Think about the first 10 minutes of the first session. Then begin to mine what the players are interested in. The GM is not the person to create a story arc. To me, that is a complete myth. Find what players are into and run with it, and it will become things. Yeah, King Kong sucks. I'm just going to put that out there. Fuck King Kong. Stupid ape. Plus, the worst part is your first premise, which is like, if we concede that the same size, which they totally aren't. King Kong is like a 1/6 the height of Godzilla. He is a meal to Godzilla, if Godzilla even needed to eat, which he doesn't. And even if he does want to eat, he generally just eats radioactive waste because he's a boss like that. Well, I'm really getting fired up about this Godzilla thing. All right, Mouse Guard, Torchbearer, Burning Wheel. Yeah, Luke Crane Games and Thor Orgusvold. You played any of those? No, not directly. Definitely have been inspired by them. But no, there's not too much crunch. There's no such thing as too much crunch. I'm not sure why people say that. It's a book. A book can't make you do anything. So you just take what you like and toss what you don't. That's the joy of an analog hobby. To say there's too much of anything in any game to me is silly, because it's just sitting there inert. It's not forcing you to do anything. So, oh yeah, I would love to see someone try to nick room design. Do it. Do it. I dare you. Get after it. King Kong's horrible. King Kong can touch the center of the earth or some shit. That's great. Well done, sir. Well played. Godzilla Demics. I love it. I am getting thirsty, and I need some lunch, so can't wait too long. And then I got a crazy afternoon ahead. I am auditioning to be in a movie. You believe that shit? So I'll let you know how that goes. Yeah. He's no mere reptile. How many King Kongs? All right, it is Godzilla Demics. Any community or planned post-apocalyptic versions of it? No, I am not a fan of post-apocalyptic stuff. I don't like it. I don't see it. I don't feel like it's escapist. It feels grim and dismal and sad and too real. I don't like post-apocalypse. There's no such thing as too much crunch. Genre of the movie. I don't know what that means. What are you planning to play next? Hard Suit. Oh, no details on the movie audition. I can't say too much. It's just really crazy that that's what I'm doing this afternoon. It is a feature film, though. It's insane. So I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to jinx it. But that is what I'm doing this afternoon. I'll let y'all know if I just suck and I don't get any kind of part, then it will never be spoken of again. Yeah, I played a little Savage World. It's cool. Yeah, okay. So we're definitely winding down in this stream because we've got Godzilla versus Mike Ditka coming on. Firehouse subs or Quiznos. Neither of those are sandwiches that I will acknowledge exist. Those are not subs, those are not hoagies, those are not sandwiches. Those aren't things. I once thought I knew what pizza and sandwiches were. I didn't. But I do now because I live in Philly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. This is crazy. Crazy. Shave the stash. No weapon made by the means on planet Earth can shave this mustache. Yeah, it's been good. Good to see y'all. This is just kind of just like chilling. It's just a little reminder. Hey, I exist. Hi guys, still over here making RPG stuff for Runehammer, and just living this life day by day. Bicycle riding weather is returning, and I got one cheeseball plug to hit really quick. A lot of people are asking how can they get their books from Modifius, Index Card RPG, and Viking Death Squad, and there's this shipping problem over here, and then whoa, holy shit, they sold out like way too fast, which they totally did. So how do I get one? It seems like I'm going to have to wait. That is not true. There's a big pile of them. The last of the first print run of ICRPG by Modiphius is sort of earmarked for retail. And so it will go to friendly game stores throughout the States. They've already reached a lot of game stores in Europe. In the States, it's all getting there now. So the best, fastest, cheapest way to get Runehammer books from Modiphius is to call your local game store. I know this is very analog, very old school, but to just order through your local game store, which almost all game stores already have accounts with Modiphius, so it should be super easy. This not only gets a lot of books moving quickly, you don't pay shipping, you pay a minimal price, and it gets the restock to happen at Modiphius even faster. So it solves the quick selling out problem. This is, I guess, a good problem to have, but yeah, we sold out of a ton of the first print run really quickly. And so it has created logistical challenges. So if you're still looking to get one, call your FLGS, hit up the friendly local game store, and have them get you Runehammer products through Modiphius. It is the best way to support me. It's the best way to keep the whole magical chain moving and get a second print run, especially of collector's edition. I know a lot of people are dying to get their hands on collector's edition. The first run sold out before they even shipped. There's mine right back there. Yes, so a Thevelside, if we get this second print run to happen, it will include probably 1,000 collector's editions. So we need to get those suckers moving. But in order to do that, retail is the best way to create this kind of vacuum force that turns this big wheel. So that's a little bit crazy to me. I'm really used to ordering online, but retail is where it's at when it comes to a publisher on the scale of Modiphius. And I think down the road, quite a ways, there'll be some Amazon distribution as well. But we need to see that the audience is going to be there for Runehammer. And that's how you can do it, is contact your game store and get down with them that way. So I'm starting to work my way one by one to make relationships with game stores starting right here in Philly and start to open up my radius and just do that one at a time. Yes, I want you to go outside and I want you to go talk to a human. Thoughts on a campaign afterlife? Nah, that's too crazy for me. That's too crazy. I'd rather call one game good to go and then move on to another chapter. I really think that mortality and simplicity and being a beginner is the best part of D&D. And so I wouldn't want to leave that behind and go into the afterlife and stuff. Anyway, that's it. I got to go get some water. I've been just like yammering, straight up gibbering this whole time. I got to go drink some water. Thank you guys for tuning in, hanging out with Runehammer and supporting me as always. Thank you all my patrons out there keeping the shield wall alive. I'm going to get the hell out of here. You guys have a great weekend. Keep it real. Don't steal. And you will always get a deal. Go make that world a teeny little bit more better than you found it this past week. And take care of each other and yourself. All right. And I will see y'all on that internet. Hit me up. Peace.